believe for 20 years. I fell asleep after drinking this magic drink, and people forgave him after he was honest with them. So in our story, we need to create a problem for them. So we have our characters, which one of them is yourself, and two are two other people. So I have myself, and I have my 3 facts, and we're going to use these facts to help us find the solution for our problems. Chris, what do you need to do if you have a question? Thank you for raising your hand, Chris. What was your question?
I just put my grandma in. I don't know how to
Your grandma? That's okay. That's a character in your story. So, but we have a problem. Okay. So this might be a silly problem, but
mom is a problem.
Chris, do we talk like that in the classroom? No. Thank you. So when we have a problem, we need to find a solution. But first we have to think of our problem, right?
Yeah.
Let's say my problem is that I have
You drink too much coffee?
no flowers in my house.
No, you don't have no beans for your coffee.
Boys, come on. So I have no flowers in my house. That's not the biggest problem, but for some reason in my story, this is a problem, right? And I'm going to have to find a solution for the problem. Now, this is where you're going to use your characters and your setting to your advantage. I have no flowers in my house. Now, one of the settings I picked was the forest. Could I have the solution of going to the forest to pick some flowers?
Yeah.
Yes. Is that a solution?
Do we have to write that?
Chris?
Yes.
So go to forest to pick flowers. Now, is this a complete story right here? Is there details or events happening?
No.
No, it's empty, right? And so when we write our story, we're going to put the details in. This is why our graphic organizers are for what?
I don't know.
For
Actually, the problem.
yeah, it's going to find an answer for a problem, but it's to help organize our thoughts. So all of you need to start thinking about your problem and our solution for our problems. Please put your pencils down. Boys, this is the 3rd time I've asked. If we have a problem, we need to find a solution. In our writing, I know that sometimes we'll create problems, but we don't always find solutions. So when we create a problem or something happens in our story, we need to find a way to fix it. For our characters to go through fixing the problem. It's a journey they're going through. If everything happens, we talked about this yesterday, Cliff. If there's no problems in the story, is it going to be a good story? If everything just goes right all the time, is it going to be short? Is it going to be a good story?
Yes, because
Cinderella has a problem. She was stuck in her house and being held captive and had to do a whole bunch of chores for people who didn't love her. Pinocchio, he had a problem. He wanted to be a real boy, but he was made out of wood. So do all these stories have problems?
No.
Thank you, Dale. Dale, can you tell me a story you like?
Like this story. Like about what?
Any story. What's a story you like?
I don't want to nothing.
Nothing?
I have so many stories I don't want to say one because it's all my secret.
Okay, Shane, do me a favor. Tell me a story you like.
I have a secret safe for in my mind.
Nothing? Alright, Cliff, I know you like Goosebumps. Is there always a problem in Goosebumps?
Yes.
Yes. Do they always find an answer to their problems?
Yes.
Do they just leave us off with the problem? Did the hamster eat the monster blood and then they go, oh, end of story, all done?
No.
No, because you want to find the answer to the problems. Cliff, please keep your chair.
It just shrunk down.
Okay, so, but that's an answer. They shrunk back down. They wrapped up the story. And a solution to our problem is our conclusion. And we talked about how a conclusion is important for our stories. Please put your pencils in my hand because you can't hold on to them during this lesson.
You took my pencil?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So when we need to rewrite a story or we have a paragraph, like with our research projects, did we have a conclusion, Dale?
No.
We didn't have a conclusion for our research paragraphs or our research paper?
No.
had a conclusion for paragraphs and the paper itself, right? It was 5 paragraphs. So we had our introduction paragraph, we had our 3 body paragraphs, which had our facts in them, right? And then we had our conclusion paragraph, which wrapped up all the ideas in one, right? We summarized your research and we wrote it into one big paper. And in writing a story, even if it's made-believe with no research, do we need a conclusion? Yes. And in our conclusion, we find the solution. We're wrapping it up. A solution is wrapping up a story. After the solution, do stories usually end, or do they just keep going on?
Yeah, keep on going.
They usually,
Keep on going.
they just keep going on. We find the solution at the beginning?
No.
No, we don't, Cliff. Where is the solution? At the beginning, middle, or end of our stories?
Sometimes it's in the beginning, sometimes it's at the end.
It's usually at the end of our stories, right?
Because
Because during the story, we have our characters. They go through different things. So our characters are going on a journey. And so when our characters go and meet their problem, they usually have to find ways to solve their problem. They usually don't get it right the first time, or it takes a while to get to their solution. So when you come up with your problem, you need to also find the solution to your problem. Thank you, Cliff, for raising your hand.
sometimes in movies they just walk past the end though, and they at the end they realize what it is, like in Batman for Superman. The spill was on their thing.
Okay, so yeah, so example is, as Cliff said, so sometimes the answer's right there, but the people on the journey aren't ready for the answer. They weren't ready for the solution. They needed to keep trying and looking for it and keep thinking and growing as a character. So after they grew as a character, then they were ready for the solution. So you guys are going to go ahead and brainstorm, and I need you guys to think of what your problem is going to be for your story.
Mine is
And you guys can quietly talk together during this time and ask me questions if you need help on figuring out what your problem and solution are going to be. Yes, you're going to draw your answers, the same as what we've done here, where you drew your characters, then you wrote some notes, and you drew your settings. So go ahead and start.
Right back on the